Thanks for logging in today. I know it's a beautiful Friday afternoon, but I'm excited to share this information and presentation with you. So, how to use culture to build a winning team with the right people. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So, my name's Sara Khoury. I am the Director of Operations for Metro City Property Group with EXP Northern Alliance. And I have been in real estate for 20 years. I started at the front desk at Keller Williams a long time ago, and I've had every role under the sun since then. So, I've done front desk, I've done listings, I've done the closing department, I've done the financials, and now operations manager. And I have also worked for some of the largest brokerages in the city and top teams in the city as well. So, come with a lot of history and different experiences across the board. I started with Metro City Property Group 7 years ago, and our team leaders are Tarek Elatar and Steve Alexopoulos, and we currently have 27 agents, and we are continuing to grow. And to be honest, it's a fantastic place to work. We've worked very hard to get the culture to where it is today, and it wasn't always this way. Over the years, we have consulted with various coaches, we've gone to conferences, read lots of books, attended webinars to find the answers on how to improve the quality of our team. So we have come a long way, and we're always continuing to look for improvements and better the team. And I know that this has been a huge part of the success. We are always reaching for new heights and looking to improve upon what we have already accomplished. In the beginning, we did have a poor retention rate, and we just did not have the right mindset, and we didn't have the right people, and we didn't have the right culture. There wasn't the structure that people needed to thrive, and we weren't attracting the right people. Now we have a fantastic retention rate. We have agents that have been with us for years and years, and it's not often that someone does leave the team. And when they do leave the team, they leave with grace, and we maintain the relationship that we do have with them already. So today I'll outline some of the key factors that made a difference for us, and hopefully you can implement at least one of these strategies to either help you start your team or grow it in the right way or improve what you have going on currently. So culture, it is one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around. We hear it all the time, and some people have come to not believe in the word. They don't like to use it, or they think it's soft or that it's hokey, but that's what it is. It's used to describe something that's intangible. It's the softer part of your business, and it's imperative to have the environment that will help you succeed. This is the word that we are going to use to describe this environment, your team community, the atmosphere, and the relationships all in one. Of course, events, team bonding, camaraderie, all of it is important, but we're going to dive in deeper than that. People can go bowling together, they can grab drinks after work or have a good party, but that can all go out the window if you don't have a solid foundation for that culture. And it all starts with the top. You have to be the one to set the example for your team members. Are you late to your meetings? Guess what? Your team is also going to be late. Have you stopped making your calls? Haven't set your own goals? Do you come in with an attitude or have a difficult time managing your own emotions with the team? As a leader, everything you do is being absorbed and then mimicked. The people on your team are there for a reason. They either want guidance, security, or they want to be led. And it all starts and stops with you. If the culture in your team isn't where you want it to be, look to yourself and your own behaviors before anything else. There's a famous quote, "A fish rots from the head down." Have you heard this one? You are the major contributing factor to your team's success. Leadership is also the root cause of an organization's failure and demise. You've got to walk the walk. On our team, Steve will get on the calls on our call nights to show our agents that he is walking the walk too. He will be early in the office. He'll keep his meeting times, and he shows consistency, and he still does the transactions and works in the business and on the business. A great book that dives into this is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. I highly recommend this read, and it has changed my perspective on how I look at leadership. Coupled with that, The Dichotomy of Leadership is a great read too, but Extreme Ownership is a must when learning to walk the walk. So what does working in the business versus on the business mean? Every day you're doing your calls, you're getting your listings, showing properties, negotiating offers. This is called working in your business. You are doing the tasks. Working on your business is looking at everything from a high level. Where can we have improvements in our systems? What's working and not working? Where do we need to improve our training, our retention? What are our numbers? Have we grown? Where have we lost? I'm amazed when I learn that there are lots of teams and agents that don't know their numbers. They don't know how many deals they have done, where the deals have come from, all of those different metrics that we need to measure. And to grow your team, these are all important things to monitor and take into account and factor into that culture. And I'll get to how all those things go together soon. And no drama. That's one crucial rule on our team that we have and we live by. No drama. We just don't have room for it or time for it. We aren't here to be back in high school for the gossip or the hurtfulness. It doesn't support the business. It causes stress and anxiety, and we squash it quickly when it comes up. We are particular with our hiring systems, and we have fostered an environment where we support one another instead of tearing each other down. If any of you have worked in toxic environments, you will know how damaging this can be to your own mental health. So there are a few things behind our philosophy about the no drama. Number one, obviously, it just sucks. No one wants to work in a place with drama. It's hurtful to many when drama is around. And number two, it takes the energy away from things. It hinders productivity. Number three, we are adults. We don't need to be wasting our time gossiping about colleagues. Number four is disrespectful, and we adhere ourselves to a higher standard across the board on all things. The way we present to our clients, the way we market our listings, our print materials, our systems. This is another avenue to leverage ourselves out of the easy, toxic environment and provide a better space for everyone to excel. Number five, finally, for many of us, especially those that work in the office, we spend more time together than we do with our own families. You better believe that if I'm going to be doing something like that, it's going to be at a great place that's supportive and drama-free. I will not spend the majority of my time in a place that is catty, gossipy, and brings you down. I want to be my best self, and I want that for our team. I don't want to be going home at the end of the day every day to see my family after feeling defeated and beaten down before I get home on a regular basis. I want to be home and be my best self for them. So what's all this for, if not to have a better personal life? We all have bad days and things aren't always perfect, but to be in a toxic environment just isn't worth it in life. So next we have Choose Your Attitude. There's a fantastic book that I was recommended by one of my former managers that has been a big part of our culture today, and it's called Fish, A Proven Way to Boost Morale and Improve Results by Stephen C. London. It's a short read, and I highly recommend it. You can get it done in a day or a weekend. It takes place in the Seattle fish market and really sets the tone for the no drama workplace and goes over how to accomplish that. You can set this tone right from the beginning. And if you have an existing team that has drama in the workplace, this sets you up to turn that around and that it is possible. I've been part of that change a few times. Some of my favorite key points of this book is checking your attitude. We can all train ourselves to choose the attitude we want to put out into the world. This is all about your mindset. It can be tough at first when your default has been to go to anger, frustration, or laying blame onto others. But choosing your attitude is the first step into creating the right environment, in attracting the right people. What type of people do you want to attract to your team? Do you want high-producing agents that are hungry and grow and learn from you? Do you think that they will stick around if your attitude is trash? Not a chance. Be humble, be supportive, be giving, and be positive. There's a silver lining to find in every single situation. Sometimes situations in life are just absolute garbage. But to get up, pick the right attitude to have, find that small glimmer of hope or positivity to hold on to, square your shoulders, try again, or move on from it. It's the best way to move forward. And leading your team in a positive way can be an inspiration to your team members. And I don't mean painting everything with roses and pretending things are fine. That's not good leadership. But not to crumble under the pressure and handle situations with grace will garner more respect and buy-in from your team than an aggressive and harmful approach. If you were at the Evolve conference last week, you would have heard Nancy Forlini speak about a winning mindset, and this attitude goes hand in hand with her presentation. One of my key takeaways was execute or be executed. You have 1 minute to mourn a deal that went bad. It's your responsibility to bring your best self to your clients, and you have other clients waiting. It's the same for your team. They are your clients. You have 1 minute to get over a bad situation and bring your best self to your team. They're relying on you. And if you don't, if you fail to improve, to see that you are the problem or that you have the bad attitude, you will be executed. There are great teams all over the place looking for new agents or wanting to grow. When you have a good agent and you have the right environment, it's much easier to keep them around than having to hunt and fight for good talent. And another point in that book is check your baggage. There's another great tip from Fish. I will touch on this one briefly. So let's say you're going through something terrible in your life. Maybe you're in financial stress, or you're getting a divorce, or your parents are sick. These are all really heavy things. You can't possibly walk around all day with a smile on your face. That's just not realistic. But what you can do is check your baggage. When you walk in the front door of your office or your client's home, or you pick up the phone to speak to a colleague, you check your baggage like you're getting on an airplane. How many times have you been on a flight and you've just read a book or watched a movie and let go of some of your worries? You checked your baggage, and guess what? When you got off the plane, it was there for you to pick up. Might not be the perfect analogy because we've all lost baggage before, but it is, going to work for this situation. You understand what I'm saying? So after that meeting or after that phone call, you can pick your baggage right back up and go back to the things that you're dealing with in your life. But you don't need to bring those into the office space and bring the energy down with your people. If we all gave priority to our personal issues in the workplace, we would all be wallowing in our own negative problems. Bringing your best self forward is what elevates you and brings up the team and productivity. And you never know. Someone on your team may be going through one of the biggest struggles in their life, but having a positive environment to go to every day can become their safe place to be. The place that they know they can check their own baggage and forget about what's going on and then pick it up when they leave. Be the beacon of light to your team. You never know when someone really needs it. And who are you trying to attract? This is one of the most important questions when building a team. Are you only going after high producers? That's fine. Will you accept new agents? That's fine too. Will you accept part-time agents? Also up to you. What age are you looking for? Can you appreciate the wisdom that experienced agents bring to the table? And when we got really specific as to the people we wanted our team, we called them our avatar. Things really started to propel us forward. People, we have young, bright new agents that are hungry to learn, and they're great. Are you doing all the training that they need? Are you patient with working through their deals with them? What criteria have you looked at for your team? Or have you thought about that? Do they have certain targets that you want them to hit? Will you take the time to hold them accountable? And what does that look like? Creating the right environment is much easier when you have the right people. What happens when you have someone that doesn't want to follow the procedures or the policies you have in place? Will you ask them to leave? Or will you just put up with it? When we started this process of finding the right people, we had very minimal procedures and zero systems in place. By creating systems and a structure, it was obvious who was going to follow what we were creating and who wasn't. At the time, we did what we could to keep those people, but it wasn't really right for our culture. We were sacrificing the culture we wanted for the wrong people. And these weren't bad people. Many of them still have relationships with us today. They just weren't the right people for our team. And that's okay. And it just depends on how you handle it. Another book that I'm going to recommend on this is From Good to Great: Why Some Companies Make the Leap and Others Don't by Jim Collins. How to take a good company to being a great company. And the biggest theme that I got from this book was the people. People are your asset. You can't do all of this or any of this without your people. For us, we followed this tip about changing the policies we had in place. The right people would adhere to these new policies and they would grow with us. And while it would be difficult, we couldn't change the people that weren't going to change. You can't change your people. As you grow and create the culture and the environment you want to create, you will never be able to change your people. And that's when you start to learn who is the right fit and who, unfortunately, is a wrong fit. And that doesn't mean the person is wrong. They just aren't right for your team. And that's okay. His big tip on this was to keep driving your bus. When you decide in the direction you want your bus to take, like your team, you are driving your bus forward. You are pushing for your growth and propelling your people forward by driving that bus. Don't deviate from your route for the wrong people. It will take you off your path to success for the wrong people. And is that what you want? To be deviated for the wrong people? You owe it to the right people to stay on your route and push for your growth. And that's what we did. We leveled up our systems, we changed our attitudes, we held people accountable, and we kept driving the bus in the direction we chose for growth. And you know what happened? The right people stay and they grow with you. And the wrong people, they get off the bus. And this can be handled with grace. The temperature turns up and they decide that it's just not for them. And in this way, egos don't get bruised and relationships stay intact and everyone is able to find what's right for them. That's not to say you never let anyone go. Of course, this does happen from time to time, but keep on driving the bus and turning up the temperature, and that can help the wrong people see themselves out before that step is required. Systems and structure. So you can have a great culture, but without systems and structure, you will ultimately fail. Part of the culture is the system that you run the culture through. If you're a parent, you can relate to this, and the fur parents will understand this too. So you have a toddler or a puppy and you have a routine. There's a scheduled time for eating, playing, and nap or rest. If you deviate from that routine, it's time for tantrums, meltdowns, and it's a rough time for everyone. If you're having the best time and playing, having a little party, enjoying yourselves, and you forget to eat, sometimes those toddlers or the sometimes puppies are so upset that they just can't eat. Or you've pushed past the routine and you're late or you miss the scheduled nap time and they're just too upset to even nap. This is like cultures and systems in the business. You can be having a good time. Everyone's happy and friendly, but you're throwing mud at the wall to get things to work. Things are slipping through the cracks. Calls aren't getting made. And then things start to fall apart because it's a struggle to get the listing done or the sale pay coming together or finding your next client. Then the bills can't get paid or there's frustration in every single transaction. It really sucks the fun and the culture out of everything. Systems and structure are a necessity to make things grow, hold everyone accountable, and work through the business to ensure all the details are in place. The discipline to hold to the system consistently is what will propel your growth, and the culture will push your growth past the expectations. And they will support what they help create. You know, we often talk about loyalty. So many team leaders demand loyalty. And it's loyalty to what? The leads that you're giving them or the appointments booked by your ISA? What are you giving them that they aren't paying for through their splits that you demand loyalty from them? Your training, your systems, your leads, your appointments, that's all part of the business transaction and should be covered by your splits. So where does loyalty fall into that? Loyalty comes from having each other's support and having one another's backs. And you'll get loyalty from someone when they come to you looking for help and you're able to help them, not from giving them leads. and everyone promises leads. So they will support what they help create. And what does that mean? Your agents are out in the trenches. They are doing the showings, making the calls, negotiating the deals. When they come to you with suggestions, hear them out. You don't know everything. You may be experienced and have more years and deals under your belt, but you don't know what you don't know. Some of our best ideas or new implementations were brought to us by our agents. Imagine we hadn't given them the time of day because we think we know better. We have an open door policy. Not all ideas will be put into play, but we will certainly hear them out. And if we can improve together and grow together, we are all better for it. And when people feel heard and they are builders, they want to stay. And that helps breed loyalty. I'm very proud of our culture. And as you can tell, I will give you an example. We have a running group chat with all of our agents and our staff. We have announcements, jokes, questions, and people will ask for advice on things. And if someone knows the answer, they chime in or they offer to jump in on a call. Every one of our agents is in a friendly competition with each other, but they have also bought into our philosophy that they are better together. And sometimes they run into a jam and they need support. One of our agents needed a key picked up and he wasn't able to drive across the city, and so he asked for help in our chat. Another agent said he was doing an inspection in the area, so he picked up the key and he brought it to them. The inspection he was doing was for another team member who needed covering. So this person, he went above and beyond, but he did it for his team members because that's the culture we have. And then he becomes an example for others and it spreads. And by creating an environment that supports and encourages this type of behavior, it begins to grow. And your team will support what they help create. And this is how you build loyalty. Things are just different when you have the right culture and the right people in place. Your growth is stronger. The loyalty is true. It's a better place to be. Your conversations are richer and you just have more fun. So things are just different here. So if you had any questions, this is my presentation. And I do have a link if anybody wanted to ask any questions one-on-one, or you wanted to take a look at your team or your structure as well, we can do that too. Or we do have time if you wanted to ask any questions live, we can do that as well.
Hey, Sarah, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Sure.
And I just want to say thank you very much for the 3 books that you mentioned. That'll be my summer read. So those are really good. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, Wendy. Thanks for coming on. And I do really enjoy those books, and there's things that I draw from them. And you can get them on Audible too. So it just makes it easier when you're driving to all your appointments.
Yeah, like today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, you can take the time now to ask, or if you wanted to, we could book a one-on-one session too. You're welcome. If really, if you have any questions, but if you want to hop off because it's a super busy day or it's a beautiful day outside too, that works. But I just wanted to give you how our culture works, the different things that we do, and how you can change things if it's just not going in the right direction for you.
I do have a question. So how do you choose your systems? Like, how did you filter your systems down? Because there's a lot of systems out there. So is there a criteria that you kind of set out before you to say, okay, is this going to fit in? Like, how do you go about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we really started, well, when I first joined, there were no systems at all. So we've been evolving our systems, and as we've grown, we've changed them. But sometimes it's just as simple as having a spreadsheet and knowing what are the steps from beginning to end. So we would take a particular task, like onboarding a listing, and then we would go through what are all the steps that are needed for you to onboard that listing and have it perfect. And then that's something that you replicate every single time. And then we would
Yeah.
go through the next thing. So your scripts, right?
Yeah.
That Your scripting is a system. The way you answer the phone is a system. And then you just document everything. And I know you were at Evolve, Wendy, and Danny Griffin
Oh,
was speaking, and he's our
yeah.
coach, and he's really helped us with systems a ton.
Mhm.
And he had that infographic that was up, and he put
Yeah.
everything through like it was an assembly line, like at the Ford factory, he said. And
Yeah.
so we go through all of those steps. And as we're
Right.
running, clients through the business or agents through the business, you onboard a listing, you onboard a buyer, you onboard your agents, just A to Z, what does that look like? And then we document all of it so that if we have a staff member who comes in and they need to work on that particular piece, they can go through the required steps. And then that's when we open it
Right.
up to our agents too. If you see something that's lacking, or there's a hole in something, or you think that we could improve that step better, we're opening to hear it because we want to make everything better all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just
Okay.
start with the
Yeah,
basics.
that's a good spot to start. That chart that Danny had was great.
Yeah, and he's got like his post, like he's got his, what do you do with a lead? How do
Hmm.
you bring a lead into the business? And then when you bring the
Right.
lead to a client where you've signed that contract with them, okay, then what are the steps? And that's your system. And
Yeah.
then once they become a past client, how do you treat them? And what are your steps for that system? And then you're able to build all your systems around that because
Hmm.
that's, bringing them through that assembly line of the business.
Now, on the back end, do you use a lot of the KB core systems, or is there another system that you're using
Yeah, we
to
use
help?
Follow Up Boss.
Okay.
We have used KV Core, and
Hmm.
I just found Follow Up Boss is more robust and it's better for our team.
Right.
We're able
Okay.
to see things at a high level. There's different reporting that they have, and just seems to have a more user-friendly interface. KV Core is
Okay.
great. KV Core is great
Yes.
here, and it comes with your package, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, really, we love Follow Up Boss.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions that they want answered now? Or a lot of you have my contact info too. If you ever have anything that you want to ask, you can just reach out. Awesome. Well, I will leave it at that. And I hope you enjoy the beautiful weather outside and have a wonderful weekend. And if there's ever any questions you have at all about culture or the workplace, please reach out.